Hey everybody, so we have a convention coming up as of this recording. Our next convention is AwesomeCon in Washington DC, May 29th to 31st. And I decided that I needed to make more bookmarks for my inventory for the show. So instead of just going ahead and making bookmarks, I figured, hey, that'd be a great idea for a video. If you've ever done conventions before and you're mostly in the artist alley, or you are in the artist alley, even if you're happen to snag a dealer's table, bookmarks are a really inexpensive way to create product that people really seem to like. At our last show, I was really surprised at how well bookmarks sold. I'm so used to everybody having a Kindle, I wasn't expecting people to still want bookmarks. So here are the supplies that I use to make my bookmarks. So the first thing you're going to see is a printout of the images that I'm going to use. This is actually a partial printout. What I do is I try to fit as many images as I can on 11 by 17 and then cut it down to a more workable size. So, and prints, I mean, you can either print this out on your own, or, you know, even if you were to go to a place like Staples or whatnot, if you put as many as you can on 11 by 17, the prints themselves are not that expensive to make, and you get a decent amount of bookmarks. Just for information, these bookmarks, my standard bookmarks, are 2 inches by 6 inches. The next thing that you're going to need, although technically you don't, if you work on cardstock heavy enough, you really don't need to do this, but it just helps to make a more durable bookmark. What you're going to need is laminating sheets, which of course means you're going to need to have a laminator. If you're laminating at places like Staples, this is probably going to be the most expensive charge on your work. But you can get your own laminator for like $20, $30 on Amazon. So I would recommend having your own laminator, especially if you're going to find yourself doing bookmarks so much. But yeah, so you're going to need laminating sheets and access to a laminator. If you don't have access to a laminator, another option is bookmark sleeves. So what this is, it's just that it's like a pouch that you can put your artwork. You can slide your artwork in, you slide your print in. You can use it if you're going to do like original art bookmarks. You can just slide that in. So if you don't have access to a laminator, this is another option for that. These I got on Amazon, and they retailed for $27 for 100 vinyl sleeves. You could probably find smaller packs for cheaper, but you know, that is an option. Or like I said, you can just trim these out and there you go, you're done already. So it depends on how you want your finished bookmark to look. Another thing that you're going to need is a paper trimmer. This one I bought at Michael's for $19. It's just one of the crafting trimmers. It's just a basic trimmer, so you can trim down your bookmarks from the paper or after you laminate, however you want to display them. Then what I have is another crafting tool. This one I got from Amazon, but you may be able to find them at Michael's. It's a corner rounder, and it comes with 2 options, a 1/2 inch round corner and a 1/4 inch round corner. This cost me around like $19. I bought it off of Amazon, but I think you can find these at any crafting store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, because it's mostly used for scrapbooking. And then I have a basic hole punch, which this you can definitely get at any stationery store, because of course you're going to need to punch the holes at the top for your tassels. And last, what you're going to need are your actual bookmark tassels. Here Here's pretty much what they look like. I picked these up on Amazon for, see, I'm just looking it up on Amazon right now. You can pick up 100 tassels for about $9 with shipping. So these aren't that expensive, or you could probably find them at a craft store if, you know, they carry them. Usually I just order them online because it saves me the time to go out and searching when I know I could just buy them online and just have it delivered. So these are all the supplies you're going to need to make your convention bookmarks. I personally like to have my bookmarks laminated, and I do have a laminator that, again, I bought on Amazon. I am going to prepare my print for laminating. Here we are at the laminator, which I don't have room in my office to keep, so I keep it in the dining room along with a color printer. And I've already let it heat up, so what I'm going to do is I want to take my pouch with the prints in it, and luckily this is one of those laminators that doesn't need a pouch to go, that you have to slip the laminating sheet in. You can just slide this, right in, as long as it's the sealed edge first. So we're just going to slide that in. Okay, and what you want to do when you get your laminated sheet out is you just want to check it for bubbles, or sometimes if it looks foggy, it means you have to run it through again. So in this case, everything looks okay, but I think just for good measure, I'm going to run it through one more time. We are using, you know, rather thick paper, so I want to make sure that it seals really well, because we don't want the lamination to split open once we cut the bookmarks. Okay, so that's the second run. Everything looks good. No foggy parts on the paper, which means it's sealed correctly. So now we're going to cut them. I got this trimmer at Michael's, which means that the blades are really easy to replace when they get dull. And what I like about this is that it has the arm that folds out, so you can trim larger pieces with accuracy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut down our bookmarks. Now with this cutter, what it has, if you can see here, there's a wire that's on the ruler part, and that's actually your trim guide. So just in case, now usually these come out, these are laminated pretty straight, but sometimes they shift. So what you want to do is you want to line up your bookmark with the wire where you want to cut it, and then you just slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out one. So there we go. So now we're going to trim. And then once you have the straight edge, you can put it along the edge at the top, so you don't have to hold it down. Okay. And there's your bookmark. So depending on how you want to display it, you can actually leave your bookmark this way. But me, I prefer to finish it up a little bit more. Here's where the last of the tools are going to be needed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to round off the corners. The benefit of having, it's like, yeah, you can leave it squared corners, but the benefit of having rounded corners is that it protects the bookmark more, and it keeps the lamination from splitting. Because usually, technically, you're supposed to laminate leaving a lip, but that's kind of ugly for a bookmark. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to reinforce the corners with a rounded punch. Sure, if you use the bookmark while you're using it, it might split anyway, but at least this way it'll last longer. It'll look nicer and it'll last longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our round punch and we're going to open it up for the corner guides, and we're going to use the 1/4 inch punch. 1/2 inch seems to be a little, and see, there we go. You see how much nicer that looks? Yeah, that looks, yeah, rounded corners I just think looks a lot nicer than straight corners. Right. So then now we're going to punch a hole. We're going to use our regular hole punch, and we're just going to punch a hole on the top center for, oh, and just in case, sometimes you don't notice foggy areas until after you trim them, which is okay, because then what you could just do is you could just run these through the laminator one more time. If you feel that, if all of a sudden you're seeing foggy here, we're not seeing anything, but sometimes after I cut out a bookmark, I start to notice that down here along the edges we have some fogginess, which means that the lamination's popping up. Just run it through the laminator and it'll be fine. And now, all we're going to do, let's see, I think a nice pink one would work. And then, all we're going to do, and there you have it. You have a nice bookmark. Whether you're a beginner in Artist Alley or you're just looking for more product to put together, a bookmark is a really good, inexpensive way to put more product on a table and be really varied with it, because of course it depends on, you know, what you draw for it, and people really seem to like them. So have fun in your Artist Alley and good luck.